the second that Roxanne Perez put out this challenge and that Mandy Rose said yes, I knew it. I'm like, there's going to be a brand new NXT Women's Champion here tonight. I freaking knew it, okay? And there was no way that they could have done Mandy Rose and Roxanne Perez tonight and not had Roxanne Perez get the win. They had to do it. I couldn't see, unless they screwed her or something, I could not see Roxanne Perez losing tonight to Mandy Rose. It would just be like, it would have halted so much of her momentum, because right now she's been on this upward trajectory that we've been seeing. You know, she came in here, she won the NXT Women's Breakout Tournament, she held gold for a bit with Cora Jade, she was part of one of the most interesting storylines on NXT with Cora Jade. They told a great story leading up to Halloween Havoc. Roxanne Perez defeats Cora Jade. We don't see her for a bit. She comes back, earns herself a spot in the Iron Survivor Challenge, wins the Iron Survivor Challenge, coming in at number 1. And now, lo and behold, she's challenging for the NXT Women's Championship. There was no way they could have had her lose tonight. It would have definitely been a huge step back. So let's get into this main event. Mandy Rose has been a champion for over a year. I just checked Wikipedia, and the number is 413 days for Mandy Rose as NXT Women's Champion. Now, Mandy Rose, she is, besides, I think it was Raquel and Mandy Rose are the only NXT Women's Champions that occurred during this like NXT 2.0 era and beyond. And it's pretty much been all Mandy Rose. And for the most part, she's done a phenomenal job as champion. I've loved her as champion, but I think there got a couple months ago, it started to get to the point where people were ready to move on. And she had this feud with Alba Fire. Mandy Rose and Alba Fire had this feud. And there were so many times where it came close where you thought Alba Fire was going to win. And every time you thought Alba Fire was going to win, something would happen that it didn't happen. The last time it was Isla Dawn who basically costed Alba Fire the match. So the second that I realized that Alba Fire was not going to become the person to end Mandy Rose's over-year-long reign, I realized that it was going to be Roxanne Perez. Like, at that point, they had waited so long, and because it didn't happen for Alba Fire, who came awfully close, it made a lot of sense that it was going to be Roxanne Perez. So this match was pretty damn good. Let's talk about the finish, because the finish we saw couple of seconds, like leading up to the finish, we saw Mandy Rose hit the kiss by the rose. So she hits it. And at this point, I fell for it. I fell for that moment. I thought, okay, this match is over. I can't believe it. But it wasn't. Roxanne Perez kicks out and she does not get the 3 count. So they go back and forth a little bit more here. Roxanne gets a roll-up, and I'm thinking, oh, let's not have Roxanne win with just a roll-up, right? So she does it. Finally, she hits her Pop Rocks, and once she hit the Pop Rocks, it was like, that's it. This is the moment, and it was the moment. The 1, 2, 3, and now Roxanne Perez, at 21 years old, is the NXT Women's Champion, ending Mandy Rose's year-over-year-long reign. And this is exciting because, it feels like, I don't know how to explain it. Obviously, Roxanne is a newer talent, clearly. And like, this is it. Like, this is her moment, guys. This is finally her opportunity. And in terms of like being called up, obviously Mandy Rose was originally on the main roster and she went over to NXT. I feel like it's definitely time to, have Toxic Attraction, have Mandy Rose on the main roster. There's plenty of enough girls on NXT right now to kind of, fill the gaps, right? They have enough people that I think they've been building up, that we've been seeing more of, that we've started to become fans of, that I think can fill the gap that Toxic Attraction leaving NXT would bring. But again, we do not know for sure. Obviously, we had seen Toxic Attraction do a couple of appearances on the main roster, but it hadn't been like permanent. So I do think that that would be a really awesome move. Damn. Like I remember, we started hearing like I started hearing about her when she was about like 19. And she was doing all that stuff with Ring of Honor. I got to see her do some stuff in Impact Wrestling. And then it was all of a sudden she's, trying out for WWE. And then next thing you know, she's hired. And it's kind of crazy too, because I did speak to Roxanne Perez. I did an interview with her, which you can watch on my YouTube channel. And she talks about the process of getting hired by WWE. And one of the things that I thought was very interesting about that was she told me that she didn't get hired off of her first tryout. Can you believe that? Like she didn't get hired off of her first tryout. She was invited back. She was invited to do an extended tryout. I believe she said it was like 3 weeks or something. And then for those 3 weeks, she was going out there and showing herself and, showing what she can do. And she even told me that the person who basically gave her advice, because at that point she really didn't know, like, what to do differently. She obviously had not gotten hired off her first tryout, so she was seeking some additional advice. And the person who gave her some really great advice was Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair basically, she basically told her, like, go out there and do what feels natural. Something along those lines is what she said. And she used that advice that Bianca Belair gave her, and she ended up getting hired. And now she's literally like the up and comer, a rising star in the women for the women in WWE. So it is kind of crazy to see how all of that unfolded. What did you think of Roxanne Perez becoming NXT Women's Champion? Go ahead and let me know in the comments section below. Also, if you enjoyed this clip, feel free to check out my show, Speak Now Pro Wrestling. I'm live Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays over on F4W Online. You can click here on the screen to watch the entire episode, and you can also check out my interview with Roxanne Perez.